So this story happened a little over a year ago, when I was 18. My sister, her friend and I were taking a mini road trip for our vacation. My sister's friend B was driving us there. Halfway to our destination, we decided we needed to use the bathroom, get snacks, and B wanted to smoke. So she parks at the side of the Tiger Mart. There was a strange guy, which I'm guessing mid to late 20s, at the corner of the building leading to the door. By strange, I mean he was dressed up in dirty clothing and staring at us as we pulled up. B decided to circle around the back of the building and ends up where the 18-wheelers parked. My sister, S and B decide to go in. I chose to stay in the car. As they go in, the guy from the corner at the other part of the building circles around the front and enters the same door. A few minutes later, B walks out and stays near the car smoking while waiting for S to come out. Suddenly, S barrels out of the store and jumps into the passenger's seat. I can't really remember, but I think the guy was still in the store, just hanging around the exit, watching us. B gets into the car, and I immediately ask what happened. Apparently, there were two guys. One kept looking around and following my sister to the bathroom and around the store and making comments about her. We hightail it out of there and get back on the road. In retrospect, we probably should have called the cops, but we just wanted to get out of there and back to our trip. So, Tiger Mart stalkers, let's not meet again. The story takes place over the span of 3 years, so please bear with me. My life has always been kind of interesting, with its ups and downs. I live in a well-up community, houses are well built, and the neighbours are usually friendly people. Living in such a quiet town, in a quiet state, you would think I wouldn't have to deal with some things, even though this town is well off, and most people are insanely wealthy. Many people here experience some type of abuse or assault. Many high schoolers are drug addicts. It's surprising, looking at this community from the outside, and looking on how well off people here are. Not realizing the horrors within. Many kids here have attempted suicide or thought about it at least once, due to some type of insane social pressure, depression, and a lack of support at home, or all three. When I was younger, I was a sheltered kid. I was quiet, fat, and nerdy. My hair only reached down to my chin, and my glasses made me look funny. Not to mention, I wore nerdy t-shirts and had no sense of fashion. I had never experienced a boy liking me. Even at the age of 12, I knew almost nothing about sex education. I guess my parents thought that they didn't really need to teach me anything, because who would honestly hit on me? And the teachers who never taught sex ed just assumed we knew it all and never went into detail. I ended up losing some weight, and I became more developed than most of the other girls, having a C cup in the 7th grade, while every other girl was an A. I still dressed badly, and mostly wore flannels and just worn out shorts, with the same shoes every day. One guy started to take interest in me. He was tall, well, at least to me, because I was 4'10". He had dark brown hair, and his eyes were mixed brown and with a little bit of green. They were so unique and beautiful. He was 2 years older than me and extremely popular. Obviously, by my physical description, I wasn't. I met him over the summer, and we kinda hit it off. He paid attention to me and was sweet and kind. I was head over heels for him. I loved the way he tilted his hat to the side and winked at me, and he had a lot of muscle even at the age of 14, almost 15. My friends teased me a lot about him. Actually, most of the whole grade did. They saw the way we acted with each other and how we flirted. Every single classmate always teased me and saying I liked older guys. Because of this, I started getting more out of my shell. I was talking to people more, and I met a lot of new friends. I had no drama, and I was probably the most happiest I'd ever been in my life. Everything was going right, until it all went so wrong from there. That summer, he got my number. I was so excited, you wouldn't believe. I never really had friends before that year, so I didn't know the texting rule, if you know what I mean. How you send only 2 messages and wait till he responds, and you can't send any more until they do. Well, I didn't have that rule and sent as many as I wanted. We spammed each other a lot, and I talked to him almost every second of the day. He made me so happy, until he started texting me things that I didn't understand. Stuff that was extremely dirty, like, he wants to have a dildo and stuff like that. I'm not going to write most of the details because it gets very graphic, and with me having no real sex education, I didn't understand how inappropriate he was being. He found out a very big secret of mine, which I'm not going to reveal, but it was a big one. He began blackmailing me, constantly forcing me to send him pictures of me. It was pretty nasty, and I was still oblivious to the whole thing. He was as my mum would call, a pig. He was a dirty piece of scum I should have never talked to. All what our conversations were about was basically him commenting on my body, which I found extremely weird. He would talk stuff about him watching my window and coming over to my house. I once featured him one night over the summer, and I was holding a fluffy white pillow. He asked if it was made of cum, and I didn't understand what he was talking about. I felt extremely uncomfortable, but he was my only friend. Not to mention, he was very popular, and I thought he could do things to me. He ended up getting physical, kicking me whenever I was walking down the hallway, till I would bleed on the floor. I didn't know why he did this, because I thought he liked me. I was heartbroken. That year, I started 8th grade. He stopped talking to me in texts, and I just assumed he hated me. But at the same time, relieved that I would no longer be blackmailed. That year, in 8th grade, I started to care more about what I looked like. I ditched my glasses, dyed my hair a gorgeous auburn red, and started shopping at Forever 21. I also started to get into makeup, and I ended up becoming pretty good at it. For the first time in my life, I got a boyfriend. He was very tall, around 6 foot, and I was very happy with him. Unfortunately, he ended up cheating on me a lot, and I had to break up with him. I was crushed, crying most of the day at school, learning about what he had done. I really shouldn't have, looking back on it, because he honestly wasn't worth it. But he was my first boyfriend, and I honestly didn't believe anyone else would like me in a romantic way. And he was a god for showing interest in me. That day, I texted everyone something. I forgot what it was, and accidentally sent it to the handsome perverted guy. He responded saying, "Wait, you still have my number?" And I said yes, and asked him why he had stopped talking to me. He explained his sister had thrown his phone into the pool, and how he lost all his contacts. I was excited we were back in touch, because I was extremely lonely after breaking up with my ex. Once again, we became great friends, and he was nice to me, but sometimes he would have random mood swings, yelling at me in mid-conversation. Finally, one day, when we were talking, he started yelling for no reason, and told me never to speak to him again. I was in tears, wondering what possibly I could have done wrong. This started in a very long depression, where I lost touch with most of my friends, and spent my days in bed, not wanting to leave. Half of a year later, I started high school. I met new people and made lots of new friends. I hadn't been that happy since 7th grade, not to mention, there was a new boy who was interested in me. And I had a mini crush on him since 8th grade. Those days, I would hop on my school bus with nothing to worry about, and I was so grateful my depression was over, and I'd started a new chapter in my life. One day, I was on my phone, talking to my soon-to-be boyfriend. I was flirting with him, and we were laughing about some joke he had made, when I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. This was weird. Most people, if they want to contact me, use Snapchat, and I don't really have a texting number. It's an iMessage. Unless you knew me or knew a friend of mine, you couldn't get my iMessage. I looked at it. It was a simple hey. I asked who the person was, and they started texting random lyrics from the song We Don't Talk Anymore, and from the movie Empire. I was so confused, but played along. I asked at the end, "Can you please tell me who you are? I'm so curious." And the person refused, and they said they had to go. A couple of days got by, and I texted the number again, asking who this is. I never ever thought it was the creepy guy, and he was so long gone from my mind. I didn't plan on getting back in touch with him, and I was angry by the way he had treated me. With some visits to the therapist, I realized how horrible he was to me, and what he had forced me to do was illegal. Thinking about him just made me extremely angry. Finally, after a couple of weeks of talking to the mysterious friend, he finally confessed who he was. You guessed it was the creepy guy. He explained how his parents were getting a divorce, so that's why he had so many mood swings, and apologized for the way he used to treat me and what he forced me to do. His words made me take pity on him, and I forgave him, a decision I still regret to this day. We became friends again, and he was a good friend, until I got a boyfriend, not long after me, and the creepy guy reunited as friends. I soon got the boyfriend I had been flirting with for a while. Creepy guy soon became extremely angry whenever I mentioned him, and started to get mood swings. He saw me kiss my boyfriend on the cheek, before I headed off to class, and didn't talk to me for a month. Weird. He continued like this, slowly becoming the old jackass he was. My boyfriend, on top of that, started to mistreat me and started taking interest in other girls. Watching him slowly stop liking me broke my heart. Our breakup, to sum it off, left me passing out from crying so much. I took the day off school that day. I needed a break. I tried convincing people that I was okay and fine and happy that it was all over. This was the furthest from the truth. I spent my day eating ice cream and watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians, crying my eyes out. I didn't want to remain friends with my ex because I was angry the way he treated me. Then it became February 1, one of the worst months of my life. I soon found out a new love interest, and creepy guy decided to ruin it by contacting the guy, telling him I was cheating. I was furious, and he soon ended our friendship. Again, not telling me why. What a shocker, ladies and gentlemen. It took me 7 months to get out of the depression those two jackasses put me in. That summer, I had a wonderful and supportive boyfriend, and I was slowly starting to come out of my dark hole. It was hard, and I still have to visit the therapy sessions due to creepy guy's actions and the things he forced me to do. I still have to put makeup on my legs to cover up the scars he gave me. I hope I heal in the future, and I slowly am. School is coming around again, and I'm not looking forward to it. My only hope is that the creepy guy will leave me alone and let me heal from his damage, and that he will never contact me again. But this has been a repeating cycle. As soon as I heal completely, that's when he comes back. But creepy guy who made me so much damage to my self-esteem in childhood, let me live my life in peace. It's scary looking back at this and seeing this all started happening to a 13-year-old girl. Parents, if you are reading this, make sure you teach your children the rights and wrongs of this world, and teach them what shouldn't be tolerated or said. Please teach your children about sex education, and make sure they have a good self-esteem. If I had these things and knew what was happening to me was wrong, maybe my life would have been a little bit calmer and better. So this happened to me and my two friends, Frank and Jim, back in 2015. It was a summer night, and me, Frank and Jim were heading back to Frank's house so we could watch YouTube and just hang out for the night. We had just left Taco Bell at around 11 PM, and we were making our way down the lonely streets and talking and making jokes. Frank had found a half-empty Mountain Dew bottle on the side of the street and picked it up, trying to get us to give him money to drink it. We were like 15. When we told him no, he said fine and chucked the bottle in the air and ended up hitting someone's roof and rolled onto a large tin garage roof, which made a huge crashing sound. We laughed and kept walking. We were dumb kids, and it was an accident that he hit the roof. Suddenly, some guy from 2 houses down the street from where we were came and screamed, "Hey!" at the top of his lungs. We all took off running. I didn't look back because I was terrified. I was a sheltered kid from out in the country, so this kind of thing really scared me. We ran for about 3 blocks, and then we slowed down and started walking again, and calmed down. When we saw him, Frank stopped dead in his tracks and said, "It's him." It was a blue beat-up car that I remembered seeing parked in his driveway while walking down that road. He was driving very slowly, scanning all the alleys. We were trapped behind a bush, and he was getting closer. I saw a small gap between 2 houses, so I grabbed my friends and we snuck out through there. Luckily, the gap led out into another street on the other side. We ran to an apartment complex and hid in a dark area between 2 apartments on the ground floor. while trying to catch our breath. When the blue car stopped right in front of our area where we were, the man started to get out of his car, and Frank and Jim ran out of another small opening on the back side of the apartment, and I soon followed. We ran for what felt like an eternity, and me being the clumsy fat guy I am, I was wheezing and tripping on everything the whole way back to Frank's house. We made it back at around 1 a.m. We went to his basement to sit and think about everything. They fell asleep about an hour later, but I stayed up. Around 3 a.m. I had to use the bathroom and went upstairs. After I finished, I was walking back down the stairs, and luckily it was dark in the house because I looked out the window and saw the same blue car driving slowly down the street, with the man scanning each house and alley looking for us. Needless to say, I didn't sleep the rest of the night and didn't tell them about the car the next morning. I still wonder what would have happened if there was no alleys to escape from, or what he would have done to us if he caught us. I really don't want to know either. This experience still sends shivers down my spine. Okay, this is the first time I'm actually posting anything on Reddit. I always love a good horror story. Often I end up listening to some horror stories on YouTube until I fall asleep. And that got me thinking that nothing like that ever happened to me. So just a few minutes ago, as I'm scrolling through some of the posts, I remembered something that happened to me as a little girl. I am now 18, and this happened when I was about 7. Sorry if the grammar isn't correct English, as it's not my first language. Anyway, as a kid, I lived with my parents in my grandparents' house, but they were kind of mean, so we left. We moved in a small house, and our landlord was nice. Now when I say a house, I mean we had a basement with a nice bathroom that was in a ground level, then the first floor and the second. I live in Europe, so all the stone houses that are old can be connected in a way that I can skip a small walk on in, and I can end up on your balcony. The house leaked every time it rained. It had an old wooden stairs that were so small and long, I feel a lot of times, but I loved it there. So at the beginning, I said, I think I don't have any horror stories, and I remembered this. Well, my mum told me a few years back about this crazy lady that lived below us, on the other side. So she lived on the ground level right under my bedroom. My mum told me that because my parents worked all day, I sometimes would stay home with my brother, and sometimes alone. Now, they weren't bad parents. We were broke, and they had to work, but my neighbours were great, so I would play all day with them, and have lunch with them as well. It was great. So, apparently one day, as it was a bad weather, I decided to stay at home and watch TV with my brother. This old lady was calling to me, and I opened the window. After the small talk, she had told me to jump, that she will catch me. Now, it was one floor, nothing too big. That crazy old lady told someone's baby to jump from the window. She was always creepy. I remembered thinking, she always wore strange dresses and had weird bracelets. Her house wasn't any better either, but as a kind of... I just thought, she is old and she is strange, and that's it. Now my mother told me during this conversation that she was a witch. I don't really believe that she was, but she sure did some strange things, and her house always smelt funny. And all that weird clothes and creepy smile she had didn't help. I can't say I don't want to meet her again. She passed away. Sorry if this was long. I just really felt the need to say this to you guys. Hey guys, it's Mr. Creepy here. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to slap a like, and I'll be seeing you very soon. And as always, remember, we're never truly alone.